What's going on, people? So, see this here box from Foot Locker? Well, the bag is from Foot Locker, but I guess the box is too. Means I have some shoes in here to talk about, right? So, and this little receipt, just kind of doubling down on the fact that these came from Foot Locker, and I gave them however many dollars they wanted me to give them. Yeah, that's kind of how that works, right? You can't really barter with these people, you know? You just got to go in there and they tell you what they want, and you just deal with it. Which side is this? You want that side to the 3 people that care to see the size of boxes. So there's that. You're welcome. Now, let's go ahead and see what these things are looking like, right? Because I looked at them very briefly when the dude handed them to me in the store and asked me to do some kind of survey, which I had intentions to do. And honestly, until right now, seeing that receipt and whatnot kind of reminds me that I never did it. I think that's probably why I was kind of sitting out on top, you know? So maybe I'll do that after this. We'll see what happens, but I'm leaning towards I'll forget. But, you know, I'll throw something in there on the screen, let you know if it actually happened or not. Though, I often forget to do that too, so I don't know. Just ask if you're curious. Either way, gotta look at these things, make sure everything's looking like they're supposed to look. So far, things are mostly fine. There's some kind of something going on the back of this one, but it's on the back and it's like minor. And I feel like when you wear these, they're gonna get creased beyond belief, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to distract from this minor thing going on here, so I'm not going to worry about it. And even if they don't get that badly of a creasing or whatever, it's still in the back, so what's the matter, right? But I'm going to go through the whole thing for the, 84 people that are probably watching this, right? Because when I put my Jordan videos out there, I get it. They don't get watched a lot, right? Because people don't come here for that. They go other places for that. They come here for stuff like that, which you can't see what I'm pointing to, but there's some 350s, there's some Ultra Boosts over here. That's what's next for today, right? That's what people generally come here for, so I get it. I just put these things out there because, you know, I mean, I bought them and I talk about stuff. That's kind of how this works, right? So if people don't watch something, I honestly don't care, you know? It's just out there. It helps with, like, you know, making note that I have things, insurance reasons and such. You know what I'm saying? Anyways. So, one other thing to add to that, right? This happens to be probably the first time since like 2016 or something that I bought like all 3 of my favorite Jordan models in a single quarter, which would be 5, 7s, and 12s for those who don't follow along. But yeah, because like they generally just don't have a whole lot of them throughout the year, and the ones that they do have, even to choose from, often not great. But whatever. This one, I'll get into my personal thoughts eventually because that's how things work. But for now, we're just going to knock out a review of this right here, which is the Air Jordan 5 in the green bean colorway. Kind of hate that name now that I say it out loud. Whatever. We're going to start with the bottom. Down there, what you're looking at is pretty much like the standard type of outsole you have on Jordan 5s, at least from like the 4 or 5 that I've seen, right? So there is that slightly different color than you may have seen on other ones, but those other ones were different colors, right? So that's how that goes. Moving on past that, up here, checking out things from the side here, looking at this midsole and whatnot. Yeah, same stuff as normal, just, again, different colors, right? Nothing too fancy about it, but I do like the combination. I'll give them that. And now, getting you guys some pictures and whatnot of this here shoe from a slightly different angle, and then another slightly different angle or whatever. Because I think that it makes sense since, you know, you guys might be watching this to see, like, do I want these? And I need some pictures, right? So you watch it, you hope for there to be some pictures. And then if there are, it gives you some idea on if you like them or not. But please let me know if I'm wasting my time with these extra pictures and whatnot. Maybe not everybody needs that. Speaking of, though, throughout the rest of this video and whatnot, there's going to be a lot more, well, maybe not a lot more, but more all the same, of the pictures and stuff than usual, because as a lot of you know that are watching this, there's a little more than meets the eye to these things, right? They got that whole 3M sort of thing going on, right? Which is cool, which was a selling point. But either way, you already knew that. So let's go ahead and get on into things and whatnot, and we'll just move on through this here review, right? So, getting into the details of whatnot. So, there's not a lot going on here. You kind of see that, right? It's some kind of gray. It's not like a straight up gray, but it's grayish with like some kind of other tint to it. Or maybe it's just because like the light's kind of shining in here. But either way, toe box, that's what you're seeing, right? And it feels kind of like that weird feeling that a lot of 3M things are, right? Because it's not going to be like straight leather or canvas or anything like that. But you probably knew that. Moving along, middle area, right? more of the same, except for this here little plastic cage type of whatever is going on there. So you got that thing happening, right? And then above that, with the lace area, you got some dark gray up there. Moving along to the very back, right? Because let's just move on. Back there, you got the green jump man, you know? So he's doing his thing back there. And that's kind of what's going on with the majority of this shoe, right? So let's jump back over here to the front section and whatnot. With these here laces, what you're looking at is basically like some very standard plain laces. And this is the only color option that they give you. If it wasn't, I'd be holding up another bag of laces or something right about now. But either way, so looking at these, they're plain gray straight down to the tips, right? As you can tell there. So there's that for you. They're fine, you know. I think it makes sense to kind of keep like a color that's not going to stand out too much, because if it was more of the green, I feel like it'd be weird, right? What do you think? Comment down below. Anyways, moving on past that. Behind here, right? You got more of that mesh type of thing you had on the side, just here, right? So there's that. So if you didn't like it over here, you might not like it over here either. Though it's at least covered by the laces, so you got that going for you. And at the bottom, didn't quite get into it, but you got something that looks almost like a sort of a nylon type of thing going on down here, right? So that's for the most part, the only place where there's not just this material. And then you move on up here, you got the tongue, right? In case you missed it, which you probably couldn't because it's so big. You got that happening, right? And that, I'm pretty sure, has more of the 3M on it, because they usually do, and I feel like if they're gonna do that on any pair, this will be the one. And then at the top, yet another jump man. So there's that for you. And then let's go ahead and look on into the inside. On the back of that tongue, you got, what's this, Air Jordan? Air Jordan on the back of there, right? Little stitched on thing going on there. Meanwhile, the rest of the inside is pretty much that green as you saw and or expected, maybe both. And it feels pretty nice. It's nothing to write home about, but you know, it feels pretty good. So there's that for you. And then as far as like the actual insole goes, getting this lace thing out of the way, which was a little more difficult than it should have been, but that was my fault. Looking down on in there, right? You see what I'm seeing? Yeah, you do. Pretty much your standard stuff, right? So there's that for you. And then looking down in the rest of here, nothing worth really talking about. I do like the way that they have the tongue like kind of not stitched down, but they've got this little band in there that kind of holds it down in place, you know? It reminds me like the React Visions and stuff. I do like that. But either way, so yeah, plain stuff going on in there. That's about everything, right? Nice color. Actually, you know, before I sat down here, Google Photos things, it was reminding me that 1 year ago today, I was rambling on about a very similarly colored shoe, just a Vapor Max 21, right? Yeah, 21. But either way, so that's going to be that as far as all that stuff goes, the visual component. So now I'm going to get you guys some thoughts, as far at least my thoughts. You can tell me your thoughts if you want to. But either way, I'm going to get you my thoughts on these things, then we'll rock out some sizing. So, personally, these right here, I initially said, no, I'm not buying those because they're going to get all creased up, and I'm fine with that, but I just feel like I could do without, right? I've got enough shoes. But then I saw some other pictures, and I was like, man, like this do really look cool though. So we'll see what happens. And then I won a raffle, which is where the Foot Locker bag came in. I was like, all right, cool, yeah. So good. I looked at them in store, and I was like, this is actually pretty all right. And then I won some other thing through Finish Line, and they sent me a pair too. So I actually have 2 pairs of these. And that's kind of a good thing, because if these do get too messed up, I guess I have one to fall back on. Because I'm liking the way they look, so I'm probably going to wear them. I can't say a lot because I have a lot of shoes, and that would be a lie, but more than like I wear other things, hopefully, because I want to, you know? You know, at least if I'm going out at night or something, then, you know, there's a chance that these could actually show off, and that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, I like the way they all came together. You know, the color combination is solid. Even if they didn't have the 3M thing, if they did have the 3M, I probably would have wanted them more initially. But, you know, again, I was kind of turned off by the creasing thing. But if you've ever seen my on feets, you know that we'll see how well they hold up after that, right? But I believe that's about it. I mean, I like them. Just kind of ramble on enough to show you some pictures, right? That's how things go. And now that that's out of the way, we can move on to section 3, which is the sizing, the comfort, and all that stuff. So let's do that. Get this thing behind us, huh? Sizing of Jordan shoes, to me, it can be a little big, right? But that's just a basketball thing. They tend to just have a little bit of room in them. So for the average person, that's fine. So that's why I generally say they're true to size. Personally, since I like a more of a running shoe fit, like a smaller sort of fit, I do bring it down by half. And in this case, it works out pretty well, right? But I'd still say most people just stick with your true to size and it'll probably be fine. But one thing that I do like about doing that with something like this is that going down a half, it obviously makes it for a smaller shoe. Because this thing it's bulky, right? You know how like when I did that up-tempo review and I was like, wow, they look bulky, but when you wear them, like they don't feel bulky. That doesn't apply here, right? These look bulky and then they feel like it. Because you look at the back end, you got like, it's like it's got a case of the mumps going on or something. You look at this tongue, it's like, it's built like the elephant man's forehead. There's a lot of stuff happening with this shoe to make it feel kind of clunky, right? So the less of it you have, kind of the better off you'll be. Personal opinion, of course, but that's just how I feel, right? I will say, past that though, like the midsole and whatnot, it feels decent. You know, I've been wearing a lot of foams this week, so my feelings might be a little skewed, but I could see wearing this for a while and not being like overly upset about it, you know, because it's not super uncomfortable, but then you still have like the upper that is not the most breathable thing. I mean, there is like the side panel, but you know, material wise, it's not the most breathable thing. So you might want to think about that twice if you're going to be like wearing these all day, like out somewhere. But past that though, I mean, they feel pretty decent, you know, like, so I'm not going to like talk down on them as much as I talk down on most Jordan shoes. But you know, it's still going to be like up to you and your own personal preference as to how you want your feet to feel through the day. So is it going to be my go-to? Of course not. Like I said, Ultra Boost, Air Maxes, you know, Gel Light 3s, that's my thing. These are just kind of cool to break out once in a while. But I think that sums up everything, right? Covered all the crap and stuff, and maybe some other ramblings in there, just enough to kind of get through that little video clip or whatever. So we are going to move on because I have 2 more reviews to knock out, and then I'm going to go to work. So from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to do that stuff I just said I was going to do, and maybe you'll watch it, maybe you won't. We'll find out together. Later, people.